wait. Imagine being this ninja, bro. Or imagine being this ninja. Bro, you're the customer. You're just trying to get your order, and then this happens.
Joined by Spongebob.
Ninja. Can I get my order? Last but not least.
One Course Meal is one of the most unsettling SpongeBob episodes, but it's not the only one. Watch till the end and see for yourself how dark a cartoon can get.
Why does
The
this sound
episode
like
One Course Meal
bro?
starts out with Plankton attempting to steal the secret formula.
Oh, this one they like
When he actually
switch?
gets very close to getting it. That is until Pearl shows up. Plankton is terrified of Pearl because whales are known for eating plankton, something Plankton is aware of.
I don't
So he
remember this
runs back to the
episode.
chum bucket terrified, which gives Mr. Krabs an idea. Later on, Plankton is taking out the trash.
Oh, I
but
think I
Pearl
do
was in the
remember this.
dumpster,
Oh.
waiting. With no hesitation, he runs back inside the chum bucket, even more scared than he was before. He even nails the doors shut. He runs all the way to his lab and hides. Just as he's there all alone and scared, Pearl finds him. But she's not there to talk stuff out, something she herself states. So he runs away and alerts Karen. But after getting her, Pearl was no longer there. Karen doesn't believe Plankton, so she just leaves him there. This goes on for 2 weeks. This
Yo,
takes a
this
huge
music
toll
is
on
making this
Plankton, both
sound.
physically
It's making
and
this seem
mentally.
like more
He's too
like
afraid to step
ominous
into
than
the
it
light
actually
because
was
the whale
during
might
the
see
show.
him. Therefore, he refuses to leave his room even to eat. Plankton stays alone in his room, horrified and crying to himself, which brings great joy to Pearl. This constant fear of death has even reached Plankton's dreams, which shows us how much he's thinking about all this.
Yo, the music
In
is
his
making
dream,
this
he's
10
running
times
away
more
from
scary
her.
than it actually
I haven't
was.
mentioned this, but earlier on in the episode, Plankton mentions how his ancestors were eaten by a whale, which I believe sparked Plankton's fear for them. Anyways, in his dream, Plankton is running through a corridor whilst being chased by a bloodthirsty whale with no way out. In his dream, Plankton gets eaten by Pearl, and as he's digested, he meets his ancestors in Pearl's stomach. Plankton's lower half then dissolves in the whale's stomach acid. After this, he wakes back up. You might expect him to act relieved that his dream wasn't real, but he's not. He has finally had enough and breaks into tears once more. It's clear he can't live like this anymore. We then see Pearl laughing at Plankton,
this dude is
but it's not Pearl that's doing
not
this.
real.
We find out that for the past 16 days, Mr. Krabs was dressed as Pearl and was the
Yeah, now
one
Mr. Krabs low-key
torturing
devious
Plankton.
for doing that.
As I said, the constant encounters with Pearl have taken a toll on Plankton. He knows this is no way to live, so he tries to get rid of his situation. He leaves the chum bucket and goes to the middle of the road. If you haven't guessed yet, Plankton is attempting to kill himself. SpongeBob sees Plankton and tries to encourage him not to kill himself. He says that everyone is
he did
afraid
not
of
say he
something,
was gonna.
even Mr. Krabs.
He did not say he was gonna.
SpongeBob then reveals Mr. Krabs' fear and proceeds to tell
Nah, he
Plankton
did not say
that
he
it
was gonna
Mr.
do that
Krabs
in the
dressed
show,
as
that's
Pearl
true.
this entire time, which gives Plankton an idea. Plankton confidently walks in the Krusty Krab and traps Mr. Krabs with his biggest fear, which are mimes. But just as Plankton is having his fun, a group of whales show up, which once again scares Plankton into hiding. This episode highlights the relationship between Mr. Krabs and Plankton. In this episode, Mr. Krabs has no heart.
Bro,
Although
this
Plankton
music is
usually the evil,
literally
what Mr.
making
Krabs
it
did
more
didn't
ominous than
provide
it
him with
actually
anything
is,
he can
bro.
gain. He
Bro,
did it
sitting in the
only
middle of the
because
road
he
saying he was gonna self-delete was
basically
crazy.
tortured Plankton for 2 straight weeks and not only left him to die, but he laughed about it too. This was possibly the most evil thing Mr. Krabs has ever done. This episode touches on various mature subjects, but the next episode dives even deeper into them. The next episode on the list is Are You Happy Now?
My internet, my rules. Introducing My Home from Verizon.
Bro, that's crazy though.
Are You
Like,
Happy
they
Now
really be doing
starts out
like
with
dark
SpongeBob
things
reading a book and laughing
in a
to
happy,
himself.
like, in a happy
This
tone.
irritated Squidward, so
I
he
didn't even
takes the
notice
book
that,
away
bro.
from SpongeBob
The
to see
entire
what
time you
he's
watching that show,
laughing
you just
at.
laughed.
The book was the Krusty
But
Krab work
Plankton was
schedule,
going through it. But
which didn't
I'll
make
say
much
this, bro. How many times did like Plankton and Mr. Krabs just like blow up or something, and then the next episode they come back like brand new? So it's like it's
sense
whack.
to Squidward. So he asks SpongeBob what's so special about it. He explains that it's his happy book because all his happiest memories happened in the Krusty Krab. He then asks Squidward what
Squidward
his
was like,
happiest
"Man, fuck
memory
that
is like."
book.
After thinking about it for a while, Squidward realizes that he doesn't have a happy memory. Squidward doesn't seem to mind at first. and just returns to working the register. But SpongeBob, on the other hand, felt sad for Squidward and asked him how could he live without a happiest memory. Squidward tries to ignore him, but SpongeBob's question still sticks to him, which caused him to cry, which was then joined by SpongeBob. After
the
a bit,
music is making
SpongeBob
this
takes it
ominous.
upon
Bro,
himself.
look, wait. Imagine being this ninja, bro. Or imagine being this ninja. Bro, you're the customer. You're just trying to get your order, and then this happens.
Joined by SpongeBob.
Ninja. Can I get my order, gang? Like, come on, bro. I'm hungry.
After a bit, SpongeBob takes it upon himself to help Squidward.
Like, y'all the only restaurant in town, and this is what I gotta do.
The first attempt to give Squidward a happy memory was going to a music show. At first, Squidward was actually enjoying himself until Nat no-scoped Squidward in the eye. Of course, this wasn't the memory Squidward was looking for.
Bro said
SpongeBob
no
decides
scope.
the next best thing would be to take Squidward to an art museum. But Squidward wasn't as happy as you'd expect. He was disappointed that none of his art was at the museum.
Bro
But
got
just
hit in the
then,
eye.
he sees one of his statues, and people actually like it. Squidward is overwhelmed with joy and says that this is his happiest memory. But luck strikes Squidward once again, which made Squidward start losing hope in all of this. But this doesn't stop SpongeBob. The next activity SpongeBob picks was to take Squidward on a hot air balloon. But what SpongeBob didn't know was that Squidward is afraid of heights.
Bro,
which
I
made
think
Squidward start
the
to freak
comedic
out.
thing about this
So
is that
SpongeBob pops the hot air balloon.
everything
in an
that
attempt
they was
go
trying
back
to make
the
a happy
ground,
memory from,
which
it
only
ended
made
up
matters
being a
worse.
terrible memory
But
for him.
still, they
And
sort
so
of
he
managed
probably
to
was like,
land
oh
safely
man, my
on
happiest
Mount
memory is probably
Bikini.
gonna be when you're
For SpongeBob, this was
when
seen
you're
as a
not there, right?
potential
When
happiest
SpongeBob is not
memory,
there.
since they're the first to ever land on Mount Bikini. But at this point, Squidward doesn't even care.
Look at
Much
his
to
face,
Squidward's
bro.
luck, SpongeBob
Yo.
accidentally
Yo, wait, hang on. Oh my god, bro, wait. Yo, this is me when I first wake up and I know I have class in the morning, right?
Squidward doesn't even care. Much to
at
Squidward's
this.
luck, SpongeBob accidentally
And then yeah, I'm pretty sure he says if I do have a happy memory, it's gonna be without you
plants the
there.
flag, which was handed to them by another climber on Squidward's foot, which eventually led to an avalanche. Unlike the beginning of the episode, Squidward doesn't cry, but the sadness he's feeling is even more visible. Squidward has finally come to terms
Damn, look at
that
that.
there's no
Look
escape.
at the slouch, bruh. This is how ninjas was going to work. Yo, Squidward is way too relatable.
and sad life.
Bro, he's way too
This is
relatable.
where the episode takes a turn. We start to see a more depressed Squidward
Oh,
in the following
nah.
scene.
Oh,
Episode
nah,
takes a
nah,
turn.
nah,
We
nah,
start
nah.
to see
Nah, this is a
more
meme,
depressed
bruh.
Squidward in the
Yeah,
following
that's crazy.
scenes. But SpongeBob is still ambitious and tries to get in touch with Squidward in
Hey,
many
I think the
different ways.
difference is that, right?
But
Like,
SpongeBob is
this
still
is
ambitious
this
and
is
tries to
wait,
get
listen,
in touch
listen,
with
look.
Squidward.
This is all of us except we don't have that friend like SpongeBob. We don't have a friend like SpongeBob. But this is literally all of us. This is all of us when we grow up. But at least he has a friend like SpongeBob.
Many different ways.
Whether it's annoying or not,
While
at least
SpongeBob is
he
attempting
cares.
to get a hold of Squidward, we see the conditions Squidward is enduring,
Because a lot of
showing
ninjas
us
don't
the
care.
state of both his environment and his mental health. But eventually,
Oh, no.
SpongeBob does
Oh, I
get
thought
a
he was
hold of
about to-
Squidward against his
I thought he
wishes
was about
and
to
tries one
pull out
final
the-
time to give
pull
Squidward
out
his
the rope.
happiest memory. He takes Squidward to the Krusty Krab, and once he's let out, we see SpongeBob's grand scheme, which was to host Squidward a party. But no guests wanted to go, so SpongeBob built a bunch of other SpongeBobs from paper mache.
Oh, that
Yep,
is kind
that's
of
it.
weird. I ain't gonna
Not
lie.
much thought was put into planning this party. But that's not all. Squidward looks around and all he sees is SpongeBob. He sees the face
Yeah,
that
that's-
put him in this situation,
that's crazy.
and he can no longer take it. Squidward starts violently ripping apart the figures SpongeBob built, and the episode
that
ends.
would be his
This
happiest
is not
memory.
a happy ending, which confuses me because in the last episode, Plankton sort of had it coming. But Squidward rarely does anything morally wrong. This episode touches on the topic of depression and shows us the effects it could have on a person. In the final part of the
Damn.
episode, we see how Squidward's mental health has completely
Yeah, bro, just
deteriorated
went
and how
insane.
insane he has become.
But
And
I
by
don't think
far-
I think it's just the way he's interpreting it. I don't think that's what the creators wanted people to interpret. It's more of like just a funny thing. It's more like, oh, like the irony is that SpongeBob is the one that hosted it and it was a party for him, and then all the people that would be there to like enjoy the party with him is all SpongeBob, and then his happiest memory ended up being oh, just destroying SpongeBob, or you know what I'm saying, just tearing all the SpongeBob clones or whatever dolls up. So it's like, I guess like that's the irony. Like the party was meant to enjoy like with SpongeBob, but he ended up enjoying like ripping the SpongeBobs apart.
The darkest
Which I
SpongeBob
guess is still
episode
dark.
in the entire series is Graveyard Shift.
Oh god.
Through the fire.
Yo.
Through the
Bro, Graveyard Shift is hilarious, bruh.
The episode starts with
Here we go.
Squidward closing the Krusty Krab, but just as he's doing so,
I had a feeling
customer
Graveyard
shows up.
Shift was gonna be
But
there though,
Squidward
because
isn't having
it's
it,
literally
so he tries to get the
supposed to be a
customer
dark
to go
episode.
away.
It's supposed to be like
That
scary.
is until the customer says,
But I wonder how he's gonna like make it
which
seem
of
like
course alerts Mr. Krabs. For some reason,
make it
Mr.
like more
Krabs
deeper
didn't
than it
know
actually is,
that if he
because
left the Krusty
like I'm pretty sure like this was literally meant to be scary. This episode was meant to be scary, but I wonder like so far like on the other ones he had it he like interpreted like a deeper meaning from it. So I wonder what deeper meaning is gonna interpret from this.
Krusty Krab open for longer, he would get more money, and once he learned this, that is exactly what he did, and left SpongeBob and Squidward alone to take care of the Krusty Krab. Squidward is obviously disappointed by this, but SpongeBob, on the other hand, is very excited to be working the grill at night, and he makes sure everyone else knows this. Once Squidward has enough of SpongeBob's constant blabbering, he decides it's time to have some fun. So he tells SpongeBob a story, a tragedy which, according to Squidward, was all over the news. The story goes like this. There was once a fish. He was a regular guy like most other fish in Bikini Bottom. He used to be a fry cook like SpongeBob, but he was clumsier. And one day, just as this fish was chopping up Krabby Patties, he accidentally pushed his hand a little too far and his arm was gone. He
That's
started to
crazy.
bleed and had to cover up his wounds, so he chose to replace his
my
arm with
God.
something else.
No. You hear the breathing? You hear the breathing, bro? Yo, he's wilding, bro. Like the music, not a breathing, bro. He's really building the atmosphere to be like more ominous than it is, like, or just he's making it seem ominous when it isn't, bro.
He quickly picked up the closest thing to him, which was his rusty spatula, and stuck it up, but thankfully, he survived. But
Bro, get that ish out of my ear,
one
bro.
day, possibly the same one, he crossed the street and was ran over by a bus, which killed him. And on the day of his funeral, he was fired. And now every
How you
Tuesday
get fired
night,
on the day of your
he
funeral?
comes to the Krusty Krab.
Bro,
using
did
the
they
bus
not know that he
ran
was
him over
dead
to seek
before they
vengeance.
fired
Squidward mentions
him?
three
Like, what?
signs that signal the approach of the hash-slinging slasher.
The hash
First,
slinging masher?
The lights will start to flicker.
The hash
Then,
slinging
the
gasher?
phone will ring, but there'd be
The
no one on
hash
the other side
slinging
of the line.
slasher.
Then
Hash
he
slinging
slowly crosses the
slasher?
street and
Yes.
taps on the door of the Krusty Krab 3 times. Then he slowly opens the door and creeps inside, step by step, and then he gets you. Obviously, this story was made up by Squidward to scare SpongeBob, something he
Let's see the
himself
deeper meaning
admits.
he's about to make out of
After
this.
Squidward
Sure
has
about
his
it.
fun, things go back to normal.
Yo, Joel,
But
bro,
now
he's over here
Squidward
saying
is starting to
SpongeBob
get
was scary,
scared,
bro.
and the
Wait, what?
environment around him is not helping. To try and remain calm, he starts complaining and says that it's stupid that he's working here and no one would want to eat a Krabby Patty
The
this late
irony.
at night. But just as he finishes, the lights start to flicker. He thinks that SpongeBob is doing this to mess with him. But we come to find out that neither of them were touching the light switch. Squidward then blames the poor circuitry of the place, but just as he's complaining, he receives a call on the phone. But once
So is he
picked
gonna
up,
say
there was
like, hang on, is he gonna say like Dracula at the end is the deeper meaning or something? Come on, bro, please.
no answer?
That's like the comedic relief is that Dracula is there at the end, bro.
Squidward has no doubt
Especially
left
in
in his
a
mind.
real person's
This
form.
is the slasher. He tried to tell SpongeBob, but SpongeBob thinks that Squidward is doing this to keep him entertained. But then, a bus arrives just across the street of the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob didn't know the bus ran this late. It turns out, it doesn't. The fish that stepped out was a dark figure, and instead of his left arm was a spatula. Fitting the description Squidward
Bro, that
gave
is
on the
funny
killer.
that the
Squidward
dude's
screams in
face
terror
was
upon
actually
seeing
his
this fish,
nose.
which is then followed by SpongeBob.
But they never explained
after he
why the bus
realized
was running that
fish
late,
was the
and they
slasher.
didn't know that the bus was
slasher
running that
walks up
late.
to the door and using his metal hand, knocks 3 times, and without hesitation, he steps inside and slowly walks to the counter. Squidward and SpongeBob have accepted their fate. and they lie in Squidward's boat waiting for the slasher to come and finish them off. But it turns out that he wasn't the slasher, he was just a kid. The episode ends on a good note with the characters laughing together about the situation. So,
How's that?
there you have it, the 3 darkest SpongeBob
God.
episodes. If you want a part 2 for this video, leave your
Oh,
suggestions.
bro, don't make a part 2, bro. Don't, bro. Don't make a part 2, bro. You are reaching, like, OD reaching, bro. OD.